What's going on, everyone? BC here, coming to you with my WrestleMania 42 predictions. And yeah, I'm going to start off by saying that my excitement level for WrestleMania 42 is, I would say, at an all-time low, besides a few matches here and there. And yeah, so we're going to start with night one. I'll go through the card and just kind of go down with, just say my thoughts about each match and who's going to be the winner for this. What's going on, everyone? BC here, coming to you with my WrestleMania 42 predictions. And yeah, this one's going to be rough. This is going to be rough to get through, especially night one. Night one is going to be very kind of lackluster, at least for a majority of the card. There's a few that I'm excited for, and then one huge blaring match that just I have zero interest for, especially with how the story has gone. And but yeah, night one, on paper, the matches look good. The matches look really good, and I'm sorry if I look over to the side. I do have some notes that I have put down for each match, but yeah, on paper they should be good matches, but the story has just been poor, to say the least. But then there's some that have had some little time to build, but have turned out really good, at least in regards to like Seth Rollins versus Gunther. So for night one, there's The Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and IShowSpeed versus the Usos and LA Knight. So this is pretty much the stereotypical celebrity match that WrestleMania has been kind of known for ever since its inception. So yes, they do tend to have celebrities on here to have some kind of interaction to bring other eyes to the sport or to the WWE and professional wrestling. And yeah, and it's at the expense of LA Knight, which I feel like they could have put him into the IC match. I think that would have benefited him better for this one, but yeah, he's stuck in the Vision vortex along with the Usos. So yeah, this one just feels like it was just to get LA Knight on the card and just have him go against an influencer. Granted, I liked what he did with IShowSpeed and going onto his stream and kind of crashing it and throwing him into the camera, which was great. And then IShowSpeed on the Go Home show of Raw, they did have a training montage with him. Granted, I don't think they really needed to train him so much, because there was a YouTube video that he did where he had a match with Randy Orton on the side, just kind of grading him or just watching him to see how he would do and see if he has what it takes to be a WWE superstar. And in that match, he did a really good job. He lost it, but he sold really well. He took some good bumps. He had some good moves in there. He's very athletic. If you haven't seen any of his videos, he does some very athletic things, just kind of like what Logan Paul is. Logan Paul is more athletic when it comes to physical contact sports, but IShowSpeed is just as athletic. Yes, he's fast. He can keep up with some football players, but the WWE is different in this situation. But I think he's gonna do some crazy spots in this. So I'm going to go with the Usos and LA Knight to win, because that should set up a tag team match, a world tag team title match between the Usos versus the champions of the division with Austin Theory and Logan Paul. I just feel like Paul Heyman's kind of given up on the Vision until Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come back, because yeah, they're pretty much riddled with injuries. So yeah, I do think that the Usos and LA Knight are going to win this, but I know Triple H loves to make LA Knight look dumb. That's just my opinion. I know there's other people that do think the same as well, and I could see Triple H letting the celebrity pin LA Knight, and I hope I'm not in that universe, because I just can't. I'm a huge LA Knight fan, and I'm rooting for him. I hope he picks up the win, but I think Jay's going to pick up the win over Austin or whatever to set up that match at Backlash. So this is not over for them, and I don't know where LA Knight goes after this. I hope he gets away from the Vision at this point. But yeah, so the Usos are going to win this one with LA Knight. Moving on to Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre, and this they should have been in the undisputed title match with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, but they pivoted, and now they're having an unsanctioned match. Basically, no rules, just a ref that's not even going to be in ref clothes. Really, just there to make sure that there's a pinfall. So it's basically a street fight, just without the bells and whistles. I don't know if there's going to be any advertisement on the sides because it's unsanctioned or whatever, but this is going to be a brutal match. Jacob and Drew McIntyre are really great performers, and I do think that this could be on par with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell. So I do expect to see some blood. I would hope that there is, but you never know. The PG guidelines, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I can definitely see blood happening in this. And the rumors is that Drew McIntyre is filming, or is still filming, Highlander, but apparently he's been able to travel back between Scotland and the US to continue being on Raw. So he's been able to make his filming obligations and still show up on Raw. So I don't know if he's going to lose at this point, because I'm not sure if he's going to really be taking time off like what people were assuming he was going to. So, but I'm still going to go with Jacob Fatu because I think he needs this victory more than Drew McIntyre does. Drew's always going to be somewhere in the title picture. I hope he kind of makes a comeback to get to that title picture. But Jacob definitely needs this so he can kind of be thrusted into the main event scene more often at this point. So I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu for the victory. Now let's move on to the Women's World Championship, which I think is kind of weird that it's before the Women's IC Championship, but I think it's to kind of, I don't know, because there's those P break matches, and I don't think the next two matches are going to be that. Based off the build, I could see it being for AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, but it shouldn't be. But Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. This started off kind of a weird build for this. Stephanie was kind of portraying herself as the heel by making fun of Liv Morgan in front of Dom, speaking in Spanish and hurting Liv's feelings, which shouldn't really happen as a heel. So that kind of got people thinking that there's going to be a double turn for this. And I don't want that per se, because I like Liv as a heel. I know she has done some good work as a babyface, but she does her best work, I feel like, as a heel. And I know she likes being a heel from some interviews that she has done. So I don't think that they might do a double turn for this. But going back to the build for this, it started off kind of lackluster after they said some really nasty things to each other, but it kind of fizzled out for a little bit, and now it really picked up in the last two interactions between the two. Backstage they had Roxanne and Liv talking to each other, and then Stephanie attacked Liv from behind, and it was a nasty headbutt between Roxanne and Liv Morgan, which left a welt on Liv Morgan's head. She posted pictures of it on social media, and it looked nasty. I've seen people slow it down, and you could see the connection, and it was that it was rough. It was nasty to see, but that also added to this. And then also the go home show, basically Liv got her kind of lick back, got her receipt, pushed Stephanie into Kathy Kelly, which Kathy took a bump for this one, so shout outs to her. Hope she's feeling better. But Liv had a crazy look in her face. She wanted to get her pound of flesh. She said that her mom was a whore, but she didn't know that her mom raised a bitch or whatever. So like she had a crazy look in her face. And same with Stephanie, she wanted to get back at Liv. So it was a really good go home angle segment, whatever you want to call it. So it really kind of got people really kind of tuned in for this one. So this one could be really good. But I do think that they really want to get the belt back onto Liv Morgan for this. And it feels wrong to say Stephanie is a transitional champion, but ever since Naomi had to vacate, since she is pregnant, and then they had to put the belt on someone, and Liv Morgan got hurt against Kairi Sane, it kind of put it into a weird situation where they put it on Stephanie, which I do feel like was a good choice because she was very over on NXT. Then she was also over on Raw, but they just kept having her defend against Raquel, which did not help. I think like the 6 times that she defended her championship was against 4 of them were against Raquel, and I think she went against Roxanne, and I forgot who else she defended it against at that point. But yeah, it's been primarily against the Judgment Day, which kind of has hurt, I guess, people's excitement to see Stephanie recur. But she's very talented, so yeah, I'm still going to go with Liv Morgan to get to walk out of WrestleMania with the Women's World Championship, and maybe start having Raquel go after her. I'm not quite sure where they go from there with both Liv and Stephanie. But yeah, all right, moving on to the Women's IC Championship between AJ Lee, the champion, and Becky Lynch. So this feud has been going on for a long time, since WrestlePalooza, when she came back to help CM Punk, her husband, go against Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. So AJ Lee came back, made Becky tap. And then after that, AJ Lee made Becky tap in War Games. And then following that, she made Becky Lynch tap for the Women's IC Championship. And so yeah, it's time for Becky Lynch to get her championship back at this point. So because I just feel like right now this feud has kind of overstayed its welcome right now, and I really thought this would have had a stipulation on this, since AJ has made Becky Lynch tap over and over again. I thought this would have been a submission match where Becky would want to get her submission back against AJ Lee, or just make AJ Lee tap, or maybe a last woman standing match. I don't know, but it's just a normal match, which makes no sense with the history of what they've been doing to each other and what AJ Lee has done to Becky Lynch. But I do think that they want to get the belt on Becky Lynch, so I do think Becky is going to win this match, and she's going to come out and then she'll work with some new call-ups from NXT like Sol Ruca or JC Jane that's going to be called up. So I'm excited for like the Raw after WrestleMania to see who gets called up and who like challenges Becky or whatever. But I do anticipate Becky Lynch winning this. So crazy that there's no stipulation to this, but I'm not surprised that creative wasn't that creative to do this. But yeah, moving on to the Women's Tag Team Championship match. It's a fatal 4-way between Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who's the champions, versus Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, versus Nikki Bella and Brie Bella. Question mark, because Nikki has been injured. She was last seen with a boot on, so who knows if she's going to be healthy enough for WrestleMania. So they might throw in the Kabuki Warriors, or they might throw in the Judgment Day with Raquel and Roxanne. And honestly, this match should have been different, and at least according to Ollie Davis from Wrestle Talk, who was kind of dream matching this as a as a TLC match, because I think this is going to be like the 20th or the 25th anniversary of the first TLC match between the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. So he was kind of fantasy booking that this will kind of be the women's version of it. So, but no, it's just a normal fatal 4-way between the competitors. But I really was hoping that Rhea and Io Sky would still be a tag team at this point, going against Charlotte, Alexa, and what's called Bailey and Lyra, and then maybe Judgment Day with Raquel and Raquel and Roxanne versus the Bellas. It could have been a TLC match, or maybe just a fatal 4-way ladder match for this. But no, it's just a normal match, so it should be interesting. But if Nikki and Brie Bella are both healthy, I do anticipate Brie or the Bellas winning the title of the tag team champions. And yeah, because this is going to be, they've mentioned this plenty of times that this is going to be their final run for this. So I can see them winning this and then putting it over maybe Backlash or SummerSlam when they lose it to maybe Rio if they come back together as a tag team. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Nikki and Brie Bella to win this if they are healthy. But if they're not, then I could see Lyra and Bailey coming away with this one. But yeah, moving on to Seth Rollins versus Gunther. So this match was very last minute, based off the health of Braun Breaker, which apparently he's healthy, but they kind of still went forward with Seth Rollins and Gunther. But they're telling the story of how when Seth Rollins was in the Vision and Gunther was champion before CM Punk beat him, that Seth was kind of just throwing his Money in the Bank briefcase around just kind of to try to scare Gunther, but never really wanted to go against him, and kind of waited for CM Punk to win it so he could cash in on CM Punk at this point. So that's kind of what Gunther was saying when Seth Rollins came back from his injury, that you kind of were like scared to come up against me, and you walk around saying you're the best in the world, you're the best wrestler in the world, but in secret you were too afraid to come up against me. But I'm the real best wrestler in the world, and I'm gonna prove it by taking you out. And there's also the added stipulation, not really a stipulation, but Paul Heyman, when he was going against, when they were having their little feud, when Seth Rollins came back, Paul Heyman was being helped by Gunther, and Gunther wants a favor, which everyone thinks that it's going to be to have Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam so he can retire him, because he's still doing his little legend killer slash basically someone that retires legends. So yeah, which leads me to believe that Gunther is going to win, but this is Seth Rollins' return match, so it's kind of a weird situation to have right now. We know Gunther wants to, or at least the plans or what everyone's feeling is that Gunther is going to retire Brock Lesnar, but do you really have Seth Rollins lose in his first match back? But I think that the way that they can do this is have Braun Breaker interfere and spear Seth Rollins, which kind of, I would say, protects Seth, and he can he can move into a feud with Braun Breaker going into SummerSlam, and then Gunther can get Brock Lesnar. So I'm gonna go with Gunther to beat Seth Rollins, and this one is my pick for match of the weekend. So I can definitely see this being really good. A lot of people are expecting it because we already know what type of workers both Seth Rollins and Gunther are. They're going to tear down the stadium, or whatever you want to say. So yeah, I expect this to be a great match. I hope they give it some good time to kind of marinate and just kind of showcase each other. But yeah, Gunther wins to set up a match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and then Seth will move into a feud with Braun Breaker. And now moving on to the undisputed WWE Championship match between Cody Rhodes, the champion, and Randy Orton or Pat McAfee, whatever you want to say. Because it basically feels like Pat McAfee is the one that's challenging Cody at this point, because Randy Orton hasn't really been doing any of the talking, really. It's been Pat doing his stupid that Randy's going to save the WWE from the IWC and bring back the Attitude Era, even though Randy Orton wasn't even in the Attitude Era. Yeah, dumbass Pat McAfee, you can't even get your history correct, and you call yourself a wrestling fan when you can't even get your eras correct. So Cody Rhodes has been going on podcasts saying that Pat McAfee is a rat, and from SmackDown last week, Pat McAfee walked out with the belt, and Randy didn't even take it. Pat McAfee has been parading around, putting it in his show on ESPN. I'm assuming this was to get more of his viewers to watch wrestling or whatever. None of it makes sense, and it was a very weird segment this last SmackDown to try to sell additional tickets to get 25% off for night 1 while he was burying night 2, saying don't watch it. It was so stupid, and there was so much history here between Randy and Cody. Almost 20 years of history that they could have played on, and they pushed it all to the side to put Pat McAfee in full on display for this. And basically, the graphic shows Cody versus Randy Orton, but it really should be switched with Cody Rhodes and Pat McAfee. And they're also adding in the whole situation with Jelly Roll getting RKO'd by Randy, and now there's thoughts that he's going to walk Cody Rhodes down and blah blah blah. And now, of course, we already have the rumors that it's going to be Pat McAfee and Randy Orton versus Jelly Roll and Cody Rhodes at Backlash. And there was the whole situation where Pat said, if Randy loses, I will never show my face in the WWE. And that was right then and there telling me that Randy's going to win number 15. And before the whole Pat McAfee situation, I wanted Randy to get number 15. I was rooting for him. It was hard to really go against Randy as the bad guy. Everyone was cheering him, and I'm sure this was all to get people to start cheering Cody more, because of course he is QB1, the face of the WWE at this point, and they didn't want people to be booing him and cheering Randy the heel. But that backfired, in my opinion. This is not good heel heat. This is just go away heat. This is go home Pat heat. And no one really wants this to be happening. And I'm in that camp. And I don't understand how people defend this kind of booking when it didn't need this. But they're saying, oh, he's trying to ruin WWE, blah, 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 or some bullshit. But it is what it is. So, with what Pat McAfee said about he'll never show up, blah, 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 if Randy doesn't win, that just pretty much all but guarantees Randy's going to win. And I'm sure this is not what Randy wanted his 15th title reign to be based off of. I can't imagine that he wanted Pat McAfee to be inserted into this feud, and it's all TKO and Ari Emanuel's fault, and also WWE's fault for going back to Las Vegas and just piss poor building for this here. So I feel bad for Cody, I feel bad for Randy, and screw off Pat McAfee and screw off Jelly Roll too. Like, I don't need them in this. And I know Jelly Roll has had a decent showing in his one tag team match with Randy, but no, he should not be in the main event. Same with Pat McAfee. This is stupid. The only way that they can save this is if Randy Orton punts Pat McAfee, but we all know that's not going to happen. So yeah, that is night 1. All right, moving on to WrestleMania night 2. So with this card, this probably has my match of the night, or the most anticipated match for me, which is Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. So this match has been built really well, and this has the ability to really solidify a new top guy. Not top guy, but just a future star with this, if they do this properly. And that's a big if, because I'm not confident in Triple H that he's going to do the right thing. That he's done the right thing with this whole build. They've really presented Oba Femi as the next big thing, the next Brock Lesnar, the next big star, whatever you want to, however you want to say this. And so yeah, they've had 3 interactions if you want to count 4 with being is it 4? So they had the Fall from Grace, they had the one where you about 4 or 5, and they had 1 interaction at the Royal Rumble where Brock Lesnar actually eliminated Oba Femi. But the first one, great build, great start. Fall from Grace to Brock Lesnar, great. And then another pull-away brawl against the next following week or whatever. It's been built really well. And so I'm really excited for this. I'm really hoping that they do the right thing and have have Oba Femi beat Brock Lesnar. But I can see Triple H pissing everyone off and having Oba Femi lose. Kind of like what they did with Cody Rhodes losing to Roman Reigns. But I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to be around long enough for Oba Femi to get his revenge, because rumors are that Gunther is going to retire Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. So Oba Femi needs this win. He needs people to really continue to cling on to him and be that future star that everyone can see him. He has the aura, he has the intro. Everyone's doing his little strut out to the ring. I'm doing it on my streams, so it's definitely something that everyone wants to get behind. That Oba Femi is the next big thing, and I full on believe that he's gonna be a mega star. Like, he has all the ability, he has the look. He had a really good go home promo for this. I know it wasn't like the most, it wasn't a pipe bomb or by all means, but it was really good for his real first promo on the main roster. So please, Triple H, do the right thing and have Oba Femi win. Moving on to the IC Championship, the Men's IC Championship, with Penta the champion versus Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio in a ladders match. And this was Penta's idea. He wanted the ladders match, and I really wish this build would have had some qualifiers. Like, it just randomly just kind of got put together. We got a graphic of who's going to be in it, and then Rey Mysterio just kind of inserted himself like a week or so later as he got clear to return back to the ring. So I can easily see this being the match of the night. It's going to be high flying. I really hope they give this some time to really kind of build, and I hope they don't rush this match. There's going to be spot after spot, some Spanish flies. There's going to be some Mexican destroyers, Canadian destroyers. There's going to be some crazy spots in this. Dragon Lee is going to put on some crazy stunts. Same with Javon Evans. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I see a world where Rusev wins this, but I do think that they're going to really kind of set up these younger talents, these most recently called upon NXT stars, and I think Javon Evans is going to win this one, and he's going to walk out as the IC champion. So it's going to be a good match. I hope they give it at least 20 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes to really kind of showcase everyone. But yeah, Javon Evans is going to be my champion. And then we're moving on to the WWE Women's Championship between Jade Cargill as the champion and Rhea Ripley. And I know why Rhea Ripley's in this match. This was really this was supposed to be Bianca Belair returning to take on Jade Cargill at WrestleMania, but Bianca is still out. Some crazy situation going on with her hand with a knuckle or something like that hasn't been healing properly, so they had to pivot and bring Rhea Ripley, and she ended up winning the Elimination Chamber. So they've added Michin and BFAB as a faction with Jade, which seems out of nowhere, but I can't see now that she has some people behind her helping her out. I think that this is really kind of just to get through WrestleMania, and hopefully Bianca comes back healed up so she can take on Jade at SummerSlam. So I do think that Jade's going to win this. Rhea really doesn't need a championship right now. She's over as hell, but I think that she might go back to Raw so she can go back to teaming up with Io Sky, and then it'll be Io Sky, Rhea versus the Kabuki Warriors to really kind of close out that feud between Io and the Kabuki Warriors. So I do think Jade's going to pick up the win with this one. Moving on to the U.S. Championship between Sami Zayn and Trick Williams. Sami's being the champion, and Trick Williams is the challenger. So this one also does have celebrity interference or celebrity influence in this with Lil Yachty, and yeah, so Trick Williams is so over at this point with his lemon pepper steppers. He has some great promo abilities, and he just has that star factor, star potential, and he's been over since he's been called up to the main roster. Even when he was in NXT, he was over. And Sami Zayn has been getting boos, has been kind of getting the Hogan what is called stamp on him, where people think that he's not putting anyone over. I really think that this could have been a fatal four-way with Carmelo, Ilya, and Sammy and Trick for this one. I really think that they should have done something like that, because Carmelo really kind of carried the U.S. title. Same with Ilya, did a great job. And yes, Sammy, he did start the Open Invitational for the U.S. champion and then passed it on to the other, but I just felt like I know they don't want to put Carmelo and Trick. They have so much history going back to NXT. I know they don't want to kind of put that on too early when they haven't really had too much interaction besides this last couple SmackDowns. But yeah, it should have been a fatal four-way to get Ilya on here. Same with Carmelo, because Carmelo and Ilya has put in so much work to really help this title. So I just feel like it's kind of a slap in the face to all those people who kind of really helped build this title, just to have Sammy and Trick do a singles match. But there's rumors that there's going to be a double turn for this one as well. So I do see a situation where Trick kind of really plays the baby face. Sammy has been a little bit vocal towards the people who have been booing him, have been kind of criticizing his booking or whatever. So he's been kind of having this heel mentality, especially after his conversation with Randy Orton, to do what you need to do to kind of solidify yourself or kind of win the big one in a sense. So he's kind of having that type of mindset, that greedy mindset that Randy kind of alluded to. Yeah, and this has been stemming back to kind of when Karrion Kross was getting into his head to be kind of that person that kind of gets his or not gets his way, but kind of does whatever he needs to kind of win the big one. So it goes all the way back to Raw for this. So like I don't know, they could have the double turn, but I do think that Trick Williams is right now doing some great work as a heel. But who knows? I really hope that they kind of don't take away what is making Trick Williams so popular with his kind of tweener. I guess you can make him a tweener where he's just looking out for himself for this here. But I actually do think that Sami Zayn actually wins this one. He's gonna kind of lean into like doing whatever he needs to kind of win this. So I do think that Sami Zayn is gonna come out on top of this, but this will also help Trick Williams be more over with the fans, especially if he shows a valiant effort to kind of not get beat by the underhanded tactics that Sammy might do. Moving on to Finn Balor, or the Demon Balor, against Dominic Mysterio. This is just a singles match. I think that Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio could have been added to the IC Champion match, and it kind of would be a throwback to last year when Dom beat Finn, or basically pinned Finn in that six-man six-pack challenge or whatever for the IC Championship at WrestleMania 41. So they could have kind of done a callback to that, but no, they're doing a one-on-one match between Finn and Dominic, and I really thought it was stupid that they kind of spoiled the fact that the Demon's coming back by just having a graphic here. But I'm sure that it was some more last-ditch effort to kind of sell tickets for this. But yeah, I do think that Finn's gonna come out on top on this one. I don't think Dom really kind of needs the win for this one. After they just kicked out Finn Balor from the Judgment Day, so I do think that Finn can win this one, especially as the Demon. The Demon took an L against Edge in the Hell in the Cell, so I think that the Demon does need to have this victory over Dom, and I think Dom will find some other way to kind of get back to a feud with his dad, and they can do a hair versus mask match maybe next year, or even maybe SummerSlam. Who knows where Rey Mysterio is when it comes to wanting to retire. But yeah, moving on to the main event of the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. So this one had some great moments and then had some very not so great moments with their feud, with some kind of tension between CM Punk and the Usos, and then Jay has been kind of slightly ordering Roman Reigns to like take out CM Punk after CM Punk kind of invoked Roman's dad's name in vain and all that stuff. And like it started off really good, then they had the whole situation where Roman Reigns called CM Punk old, and that kind of triggered Punk, which made zero sense in a story situation. And then then the undisputed, or then Pat McAfee kind of got a little bit into this feud, stupid situation going on with that. So, but then just yesterday, yesterday, because I'm recording this early in the morning, like at 1 a.m. or so, that Roman Reigns, like the last promo felt like that they were just getting stuff off their chest, and I feel like that could have been early on, and they could have had a more heated exchange towards the end on their go home show, but it wasn't. It was just kind of a mess situation. It just did not feel like a really good go home angle for CM Punk and Roman Reigns, which have a lot of history together, and this is going to be a great match. It's going to be a good match, but I feel like it did not stick the landing before their match. It was just kind of a nothing kind of promo exchange between them, and a lot of people were kind of upset about it. And it was basically some people were relaying it as a therapy session between each other just to get what they need to say about each other off their chests. So, like, it was not a bad promo segment between them, but it could have been earlier on and then kind of like peaked a little bit later because on Thursday, Roman had this really good in his car promo over CM Punk that could have ended that could have ended Raw on the Go Home show, and that would have been a great way to leave it off. Like Roman Reigns cooked CM Punk in this one, and it would have been a great situation. And I mean, I don't want them to like kind of bring up like it would be cheap heat in a sense to bring up Larry, CM Punk's dog, to be part of this. But like after what CM Punk did with Roman's dad, talking about his dad looking up or whatever, or like he was going to bury him next to his dad, that was a low blow, and I feel like Roman Reigns should have kind of returned the low blow by mentioning Larry. But I don't know if CM Punk kind of vetoed that kind of type of promo, but that never got brought up really, which in all honesty is kind of surprising after invoking his dad's name. So I was kind of shocked by that, but this is going to be a good match. I think Roman Reigns is going to win this to also maybe set up maybe some other feuds that between Roman and everyone else. CM Punk has kind of gone through the roster for the most part, and but I don't like Roman Reigns is still part-time, and it just sucks when your champion is part-time and you hardly get to see them, and the opponents have to kind of really build up the match, which there's some people that he could really go up against, so it wouldn't be the worst, but it just I hope that he would end up being more present on the show before they kind of get it off him. He better not hold it for a full year or the 1,000 years or whatever, or not years, 1,000 days that he had it before Cody Rhodes took it off him. So, but I do think that Roman Reigns is going to beat CM Punk for this. I don't know where CM Punk goes after this, but Roman Reigns has some fresh competition. I could see him getting thrown into a match between Oba Femi. I could see Seth Rollins. I could see Braun Breaker. You could see maybe they rehash it with LA Knight. Maybe Jay even tries to go against him again. There's a lot to kind of throw at Roman Reigns now that he hasn't been champion for over a year and a half or so, or 2 years since WrestleMania 40. So he's been out of the main event scene for a while. So this is good for him to kind of get back into that, I guess, and then rehash maybe some old kind of feuds that haven't really been at the forefront. So I do think Roman Reigns is going to come out on top. Where CM Punk goes, I don't know. But yeah, so those are my predictions for WrestleMania 42. Will we see The Rock? Probably not, but we could always hope that maybe he could set up a match between him and Roman later on, or are we going to get some surprise appearances? People are saying that Vince McMahon may come back to help out Randy Orton and Pat McAfee, or Shane McMahon can come back. Who knows what's going to end up happening for this, especially 9-1. But I hope that there is some surprises. I hope that maybe Pat McAfee gets hit with a Cody Cutter or a Crossroads or whatever, because he needs to get smacked up here in a little bit. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think is going to end up happening, what match you're most excited for WrestleMania 42, And yeah, I will also be streaming both nights on my Twitch channel, and I will put kind of my Twitch in the description and also on the screen. So if you want, you can join me, and while I'm reacting to WrestleMania 42 both nights. So yeah, let me know about what you guys think, and go ahead and like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I really appreciate you sticking through my predictions. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.